Hi everyone, I'm doing this for the first time from Greece. This is Hey Stella with Mihaela. I cannot believe that I'm doing it from Athens, Greece. I left New York about a week ago and I'm so excited to be with family, and meeting a new member of the family is just out of this world. I don't know, but I've been so much wanting to talk about the Johnny Depp trial and Amber Heard. I know I did an episode, that was the previous episode before I left New York, and I cannot stop watching it. I'm still watching it. It's really crazy because there's so much drama, there's so much human behavior that can be analyzed. The different people, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. It's fascinating, especially for somebody who's dealing with the profession of actors, to watch these actors in real life situations, such as the trial, is really unbelievable. It's out of this world. Fascinating. At the same time, it's sad because all of us would think that once we get to their level of success, personal and career-wise, things are supposed to be okay, and they're not. I think what I love so much about Johnny Depp, I've always respected him as an artist. I think he's an amazing artist. I think he understands what it's like to be a creative human being, and he puts his soul and heart and discovers something new of himself every time he portrays a new character, which is absolutely courageous and brave to do. I think most of us are so much more safer to stay with what we know we can do and do it right than start doing something that we're not sure of and even might fail at it, but we're still trying it. And I think that Amber, watching that during their relationship years and realizing that she doesn't even come close to his understanding of what the profession of acting and what artistry is, was very jealous. And as we have seen and as we have learned over the last couple of weeks, and were able to be witnesses to the recordings that she was doing, and they both were doing, as a tool that was presented to them by their psychoanalyst in order to try to better their relationship. She was the one in the recordings, she was the one that was mocking him for his artistry. She was projecting onto him what she was feeling herself, projecting onto another person what you are and who you are is so much easier than taking responsibility. She was doing that. There was this recording that says it all. You, who do you think you are? Oh, big man, big man. You did 21 Jump Street, which was one of his first shows, which I thought was good. It was back in the 80s. He was so beautiful physically, and he was at the beginning of his career. And at that time, it was probably the beginning of his understanding of what creative work is. And the tools that acting provides are the techniques that he, on and on and on, as he went into his life and as he became older and he became more famous, more of a movie star, he became so brilliant in the choices that he made when it came to all these individual characters and roles that he played. And I think Amber was just so jealous of it because she was mocking him. Why would you mock someone for something that he's great at and reverse it and make it seem like he is nothing because you feel like a nothing, instead of asking him, instead of being a grateful actress who is much younger, who could have very well said to him, listen, can you help me with my acting? Do you want to recommend someone that's going to help me with my acting? Can you give me some tips in the tools that you use? Do you use method? Do you have an acting coach that you work with? How are you able to create these beautiful human characters with all of the elements that so many people relate to? Because that's why so many people love him. So many people love him because he's a brilliant actor. Being a brilliant actor demands of that actor to be open, to show his true self to the world first. So then on top of that, he can bring and build those amazing roles. You cannot put a facade and work from the facade to build character. You have to open yourself up. The opening up is the foundation on which you build all those characters. She was desperately jealous. She was desperately jealous. And when the time came that he became abused to such a degree that he turned into this physical, scary finger cut. I mean, can you imagine if that bottle would have gone in the direction of his head or something like that? When he decided that he was going to not be with her anymore, she realized that no matter how much he loved her, she will not change. That's when she went even more crazy. That's when she went even more crazy. Acting coach, speaking of acting coach, one of the witnesses that her team of lawyers had was an acting coach. And even the acting coach, I mean, my God, I'm sorry to say this, I don't know her name. I don't know her personally. And I'm sorry to say this, but if this is all you could do with Amber Heard in the hundreds of times that you met with her, I believe she said, if that's the only thing that you could do, that the result of her acting is what we saw in Aquaman, which was really, really horrible. And then you have her playing this victimized character on the stand with those high expressions and biting of the lips and all the overtones. I am in so much pain. I am in so much pain. And I'm looking at the audience. Can you see me, audience? What was the question? Yes, ma'am. What was the question? No, no. I pledged the money. I did not pay the money, but it's the same thing as pledging the money. Oh, yes. I just said, I pledge the money. It's the same thing. You pledge when you buy a house, you don't have to pay the money. You take out the mortgage. She changes so fast from doing all these like horrible acting expressions, which are from thousands of years ago. Even at that time, now that I'm in Greece, I can say thousands of years ago, the great actors, before any method, before any technique was known as the techniques for actors, the great actors were using their personal truth. They were using their personal events. They were using their personal experiences to be able to portray human emotions as credible, as truthful, as delicate, as specific as we need to have them portrayed. But she, in 2022, having worked with this acting coach for so many hundreds of times, could only do this on the stand. And then I had my bruise kit. No, I don't mean to say bruise kit. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk here. I mean to talk here. Yes, yes. I'm going to put my shoulders down because I want to show you that I'm playing the victim. And this is what my acting coach taught me to do. I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to say, oh, you're talking about the bruise kit. I mean the makeup kit. I like to call it bruise kit. You know, that's what I like. Might have done like an Anthony Hopkins. Chianti, 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 Chianti. That's what she should have done. She should have done that to the audience. That would have been something. Because she likes to take like all these different things from different characters, I think, that she's seen. So she's trying to imitate that. So that would have been a good one. Imagine if she would have done like a snake, the snake animal. You should try it, Amber. You should try doing the animal of the snake. Because she's talking all the time about Johnny Depp, how he was growling. Johnny Depp was growling. Let him growl. Let him howl to the moon. Let him growl. No matter what you want to say about him, you cannot say that he abused you. No matter how many witnesses they brought, it's always about, oh, this is what he did. He threw the bottle. Ellen Barkin, that reminds me. Ellen Barkin. Ellen Barkin is an actress who was an amazing actress. She was married to Gabriel Byrne, whom I used to know many, many years in New York. We actually met. We went out a couple of times, out as friends a couple of times. And he used to say about Ellen Barkin, he was actually at that time divorced from her, but he and her had children together. And he used to say, when I would ask about Ellen Barkin, who at that time, when I knew Gabriel Byrne, Ellen Barkin was married to one of the richest men, Ronald Perlman, the president of Revlon at that time. So this was about 15 years ago, even more. She married him, and she used to come to a restaurant in New York where I used to work with Ronald Perlman. And in the beginning, before they got married, so I was from the restaurant, they used to come almost every week. Ronald Perlman used to have a table that was reserved for him all the time. So nobody would sit there because in case he might come, that's how important and what a big name he is in business. Very, very extremely rich. Nice guy. Nice guy. He was one of our regular customers, but he used to come there with Ellen Barkin. And I, as a member of the actor studio, I even spoke to her at some point for a few minutes because she was teaching at the actor studio program, or she wanted to teach. So she was talking to James Lipton, may God rest his soul, who's passed, but he was the dean of the program of the actor studio, the MFA program, which I also graduated from. And I remember she was teaching there. I think she even taught there. So we spoke about it a little bit at the restaurant. So in the beginning, I could see there, even though I was an outsider, I don't know them personally, but I know them as I worked in the restaurant and they were regular customers. But in the beginning, when she was coming with Ronald Perlman, she was so sweet. And I remember they were sitting at the table. We were sitting at the table and she was like massaging his head. He was like bald head. And she was like always very tactile. She was always like massaging him, very endearing towards him. And she was always touching him. There was so much love between them in the beginning. And I remember he used to say at that time, you could smoke outside or inside the restaurant. I don't remember, but I remember as time went on, you could see their relationship change in front of us. I mean, in front of us, people working in the restaurant, outside of their like circle of people, we were not personally part of their group, but we could see the relationship change. And I think after they got married, everything turned so much more from where it started. There was no more her touching him while they were sitting there to have lunch or dinner. she was so much more confident in herself. And she would say to Ronald Perlman, he hated smoking and she used to smoke. So she would get up to go smoke. And he would say, don't smoke, don't smoke. This is a long time ago, so I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting exactly. Don't smoke, Helen. Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. I don't know if she said the first one, but she would say, oh, please. And she would go outside and smoke a cigarette, or she would she wouldn't mind. But in the beginning, she never smoked. So in the beginning, when she was coming with him, she never lit a cigarette. But then she was smoking after they got married. I don't know how long they were together, but there was a divorce. And I remember during the divorce, she asked for so much money. I mean, she got a lot of money. I think she got about 60 million. And people were talking about the fact that on top of the 60 million, that's what the gossip was at the restaurant, because, Perman was still coming at the restaurant without her. He moved on to like somebody else. And she supposedly sold all the jewelry that she had. And she made additional $23 million. I don't know why that comes to me. But these are like just things that I remember. So I don't know exactly how the story is right, but I don't know how specific I am about the numbers or the details in the way that they actually spoke. But that was the gist of it. So when Ellen Barkin was the witness to the Amber's side for the trial of Johnny Depp, and she was talking about Johnny Depp, and yes. I was like, well, yeah, she's going to be on Amber's part because she did to Ronald Perlman. She was able to do the same thing in the sense, I'm not talking about the abuse. She was able to get out of him the money that she wanted, And then going back to Gabriel Byrne, who's such a nice guy, he would say about her, when he was marrying Ronald Perlman, he was saying, when I first met Ellen, she was just a simple girl from Queens. I'm just a simple girl from Queens. That's what he said that she would say about herself. And now, here she is marrying Ronald Perlman on top of the fact that she's done some really great movies for a long time. I mean, I haven't seen her do anything lately, but that she had a great career. And I think I always thought that she was very sexy and she was very seductive, and just, there was this physical thing that she had. There was something like one corner of her mouth was going up or down, and it was almost like she had this like kind of a sexy half smile all the time. And she was beautiful physically all the time. So to see her now on the stand, I mean, I know it was a video deposition that she had done prior to this. I think it was for the other trial of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but still to see her, like, she looks so different. And I don't know, I mean, why would she want to do that? Was she subpoenaed? I don't know if she was forced to do it. But anyway, it's just so incredible to watch this. So I guess what's happening, we're starting to watch the last week beginning today, Monday. And I think they're supposed to wrap up. The closing arguments are supposed to be made on Friday. So I'm just so glad that people are open to maybe understanding that just because the Me Too movement started and that's things have changed, which is a great thing, it doesn't mean that everybody is going to be truthful in coming out to say that they're victims as women, because I don't believe at all, from all the facts, and I'm not just saying I don't want to be on the side of Amber, all the facts that are out there so far, she was the abuser. She was not abused. Johnny Depp is the abuser. And that the male being the abused is something that people don't talk about it. There's still a hush thing about people admitting that, because how can a man be abused when you're stronger physically, supposedly, than a woman and you can protect yourself? Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse will lead to the physical abuse, and it will diminish your heart and your mind so much that your physical power diminishes with that. So abuse is not just who's stronger this way or that way. It's so much more. It's so much more sometimes hurtful when somebody diminishes your being, what you do. In this case, the way that I started to talk about, and the way that I talked about the recording where she puts him down about his creativity. His creativity is who he is. You're taking that down and you're ripping it apart, and you're like being sarcastic about it, and you're mocking him, and you're doing it knowing that you're hurting the man that you then understand she doesn't stop saying how much she loved him. If you're going to say how much you love someone, maybe somebody has to go out and read the Arthur Miller, The Drama of the Gifted Child, which I seems to come up all the time. Alice Miller, that book, I mentioned that in another episode. It talks about why grown-ups have to always say, but I love this person, having said something or having done something bad to them. I didn't hit you, I just hit you. I didn't hit you, I just hit you. But I loved him so much because I loved him so much. I stayed in the relationship because I loved him so much. For someone like her to have to say, but I loved him so much. I loved him so much. Why is she saying that? Because there's guilt underneath that. She can just do her testimony, she can answer the questions, but she goes back to how much she loved this man, how much she loved this man, whom she took pictures of in the most humiliating, vulnerable positions. And Johnny Depp is saying, this is who I am, this is who I am, who in their full life up to now cannot think of situations that you, if taken a picture of, would feel humiliated or ashamed. Because all of us have flaws. We're flawed human beings with humiliating gestures. But that's what makes us so beautiful, because we're not all perfect. We're not all great like she wants to portray herself to be, which is impossible. She's trying to portray the impossible. That's how I know she's lying. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna portray the impossible. That's what she's doing. I mean, this is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I am so glad that Johnny Depp, think about it. He's not saying, I didn't do drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not. He's saying, yeah, I've done everything, but I haven't abused Amber. He's admitting, he's taking responsibility because he knows as a great actor, he's also a great human being. And in that greatness, you must admit to the flaws because you have them. We all have them. The difference between Amber and Johnny Depp is huge. She is an amateur actress, and she was only able to become that amateur actress due in part to the relationship that she had with the brilliant actor Johnny Depp. She could have been so humble. She could have learned so much from him if only she could have admitted that she needed to learn. But she doesn't think that she has to learn because in her narcissistic mind, this is my characterization of her from an acting point of view. In her narcissistic mind, she can't accept that she has flaws. She can't accept that there's more to learn. She can't accept that Johnny Depp is so much of a greater human being than she is, and therefore so much of a greater actor. She can't do that. So she's putting on this farce. She's putting on the farce. It's a farce. If anybody were to act the way that she's acting on Stand or in the other stuff that we heard or we have seen between the two of them, they would throw you out. if you were acting that way on stage or on set, because it's farcical. It's farcical. It's not credible. It's not truthful. It's not. Stanislavski, the guru, Strasberg, Stella Adler, Meisner, they all came up with techniques, adjusted techniques, because they wanted the actors to be credible. They wanted the actors to accept and be responsible for all of who they are, including their flaws. And she doesn't even know that. She doesn't know that. She thinks that by looking at the jurors, there's the audience. She doesn't even know that much. As an actor, you know that if you're going to stare down on an audience, if I'm going to stare you down like this every time I talk to you, I was going to say this now, and then I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say that. That's not talking to an audience. That's not taking the audience in. It's you making the audience uncomfortable. You scaring the audience off instead of calming the audience, instead of you calming yourself and sometimes answering the person who's asking the question, and be there. Let the audience come to you. Let them come to you. You go into them like this all the time. It's like, but she doesn't know that. She doesn't even know the rapport between a great actor and their audience, and how you have to relax them. If you don't relax, if you don't speak from a place of intimacy and specificity with truth, the audience is smart enough to not give you their credibility, because you are not credible. The audience is smart enough. You don't have to turn to them every time in order to grab their attention. They're not stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid by turning to them because you don't know the art of acting. You don't know the art of experiencing. That's what acting is. Acting is the art of experiencing. How are you experiencing the relationship? How are you behaving in the experience? Where are you coming from in your experience? The art of experiencing is what Amber lacks. The art of experiencing is what Johnny Depp is brilliant at. And she could have gained so much teachings from him if only she would have admitted to herself that she needs to be taught. I'm so glad this is my episode, my first one from Athens, Greece. I'm speaking lower because I have a nephew who is sleeping. My namesake, Mihail, he's sleeping in the other room. So adorable. Please ignore the okay. So we'll see how this goes. But I'm really, really excited that I was able to do it. I was like so wanting to do it. So watch the trial. And Johnny Depp, I'm for Johnny Depp, I'm for Johnny Depp. Thank you for watching Hey Stella podcast with Mihaela from Athens, Greece. The next one I'm going to try to do somewhere outside. So maybe we can have like the background of Acropolis. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Thank you, everyone.